In the heart of the night, this world will burn bright. We will set it alight. In the heart of the night, in the heart of the night, this world will burn bright. We will set it alight. In the heart of the night. Hello everyone, I am Anthropomantic Fiend, and I do horror-related things on the internet. I am continuing my review of this new box set that I got, which I believe is just called Horror Classics or Horror Movie Classics or something like that. The last movie I reviewed was The Gorilla, which starred Bela Lugosi. This movie also stars Bela Lugosi, and I quickly realized that every movie on this first disc I'm doing stars Bela Lugosi, so just expect a black and white movie with Bela Lugosi in it for the next new reviews. What am I saying? For the next few reviews. Also new reviews, but I'm just getting tongue-tied now. Anyway, this is another Bela Lugosi movie, also in black and white. I believe this one became... What am I doing? I believe this movie came out in the 50s, though. I will put a date down here somewhere because I neglected to write it down this time. This movie has been one of my favorite campy B-movies for a long time. It's just so much fun. Sci-fi horror movie with Lugosi and some terrible and hilarious special effects. So this movie doesn't really have any other notable actors in it besides Lugosi, so getting that out of the way, this movie is about Lugosi, who plays Dr. Carruthers, who's this scientist who works for a cosmetics company. He has created this shaving cream of some kind that has become super popular and a bestseller. It might not be shaving cream, some other product that people use. He gave it to this company and they took most of the profit and gave him just a little bit of money, which apparently they were legally able to do so, and he wasn't really paying attention, but regardless, he's still pissed. I don't really understand the whole money logistics there, but regardless, it's enough of a motive for him, and it's always either money, a love interest, or just crazy scientific devotion, or a combination of some of those three or all three of those things. Unbeknownst to these people, he has a secret room in his laboratory where he has been using electricity somehow to manipulate the glands of this bat and make it giant and bloodthirsty, or at least particularly irritated by some chemical that he's found. And he started making this lotion that has the chemical in it so that he can give it to people he wants to kill. They'll use it, and then he'll release the bat, and the bat will kill them. That is basically the plot of the movie. We've got these two reporters who are sent in to investigate the murders, and they just gradually start unraveling the whole thing as the bodies start to pile up and the devil bat just keeps killing people. So, first of all, the soundtrack in this is very stereotypical classic horror, but it's got sort of this playfulness to it. If you pushed it just a little bit further, it could be in a Looney Tunes cartoon or something. It's not that off the wall, but it's got this sort of playful undercurrent to it, and I really enjoy it. It's not like it has any kind of distinctive theme that I'm yes, this is a really great piece of music. It's just sort of a fun background to the movie. Visually speaking, it's not especially stylish, but I really like the way the laboratory looks. I've always loved just little, having little test tubes and Bunsen burners and beakers and things just bubbling all over the place. It's part of why I wanted to be a mad scientist when I was a lot littler. I still kind of do. I just don't like having to understand all the science stuff, and also creating monsters and formulas for creating monsters and giant devil bats isn't exactly beneficial to anybody's health and is probably illegal. So I'll just satisfy myself with decorating my room to look like a mad scientist's laboratory. Anyway, I love the laboratory. I love having the secret panel that leads into the devil bat room. Costuming wise, pretty standard outfits for the period, although again, with the mad scientist thing, I love the goggles that Lugosi puts on when he's jolting this bat full of electricity. I think that shot of him looking into the room with the lights flashing and just with his goggles on and grinning maniacally in on the devil bat is absolutely iconic, and if it isn't iconic to most people, it should be, because I just love that shot. And then there's the special effects in this movie. The devil bat looks really stupid, and I mean that in the best way possible. When you see it actually in the scene with the actors, it is very obviously a model. It doesn't even have any kind of mobility. It's very clearly just this stiff sort of model, which is amusing because there's another scene where the reporters are like, okay, so we didn't get a shot of the devil bat, but we have to convince the people that it exists somehow, so we need a photo. So they go with obviously the most ethical and smart thing to do, which is to fake it and get a taxidermy bat and thread it up on a string and touch that up later. It really might as well just be something like this. And they don't get away with it because someone looks at the photo and determines that they didn't quite touch it up as much as they should have. They found a little tag on it that says made in Japan. This one is actually, if you can read that, made in China. But, same thing. This is particularly funny because the actual devil bat looks about as real as their fake one does. It might as well have a little tag on it that says made in Japan. Except when we get close-ups of it, which are stock footage of a bat, and the bat is adorable. It definitely doesn't look like any kind of killer. It was probably hanging upside down and eating a little piece of fruit at the time. I don't know if it's a fruit bat or not. I love bats, but I'm not any kind of scientific expert on them, and obviously the people who made this movie aren't either, which I will get into in a moment, but the bat is not threatening at all. The highlight of the bat isn't even the way it looks, it's the way it sounds. Because the bat, when it attacks, it makes these little sort of high-pitched, not really ear-piercingly high-pitched, but it sounds like some kind of weird bird cawing when it does it in these little short, sharp things. But then when it goes into the dive to attack somebody, it just goes into this long-winded scream, and it's hilarious. I love it. It sounds like one of those screaming goats, but held out even longer, and I just can't. It's too funny. I love the devil bat sound. In terms of the human actors, Lugosi is Lugosi. He's being his dramatic self, and a little melodramatic as he can be, but after being the Count in Dracula in 1931, ever since then he was just given melodramatic villain roles, so he's given these very melodramatic lines to read, and he gives them the appropriate amount of oomph. If he was subtle, this movie would be boring, but he's not, so this movie is amazing. None of the other actors really stand out at all. They're all, pretty generic character types with pretty generic dialogue, but they all sort of serve their purpose within the movie, and none of them really bothered me, with the exception of the French maid at this house. Her name is apparently Frenchy, and it just didn't, it seemed condescending and not good. That just sort of rubbed me the wrong way. The other characters are fine. That was just sort of, yeah, the other characters are fine. Lugosi is great, and Lugosi gets some, really great one-liners. I don't want to spoil them all for you, but every time one of these people who he's gonna attack comes in, and he has them try out his new shaving lotion, they'll say, well, good night, Dr. Carruthers, and he'll go, goodbye, Mr. whoever it happens to be. And it's, it's that classic Lugosi villainous I know something you don't know thing, and it's hilarious. I wrote some other ones down, but I don't want to spoil it because it's pretty hilarious. My dad was watching the movie a little bit with me, and he laughed out loud at some of it, so I'm glad I'm not the only one who's really amused by this movie. The reporters are goofballs, and they're somewhat amusing. Not quite as funny, but they've got some funny moments. Their banter back and forth with their very disgruntled, grumpy boss is kind of funny. There's a point where on the phone with their boss, he's like, look, Joe, have you ever lied to you? And he just goes, plenty of times. And that was fun. They're kind of amusing, but Lugosi's highlight of the movie, as you could expect. As I said, the death scenes, you've got the high-pitched screaming goat devil bat screech, the bat flying towards them without ever moving its wings as you hear this noise, and they let out this super fake scream, and the bat just lands on their throat and they wrestle with it, and it's great. I love it. Hilarious death scenes, although they all kind of just run the same way. This isn't like a slasher you'd get later where every kill is different and creative. They all kind of go the same, but it's funny every single time. That's really about all I can say about this movie. Oh, I will say one other thing. I said I would talk about how I don't know if the people who made this movie really understand, how bats work or the science behind them. Like, I don't know if this was a thing at the time, but everybody in this movie apparently doesn't know that bats aren't birds and they're mammals. There's like a couple characters who are like, dude, bat's not a bird, it's a mammal. But everybody just keeps on referring to bats as birds. And it's just like, come on. When they get an autopsy on this guy and what attacked them, when they look at the hair and the talons, they're like, the talons, we're pretty sure we're bird, but the hair seems like mouse hair, and it's just like, does science really, really not know that that's a bat and not a mouse? Because apparently it's just like, oh, mouse plus bird equals bat. That's sound science. I don't know. Seemed a bit dubious to me, but yeah, and sort of the mad science thing, they're just like electricity acting on the glands of the bat to make it bigger, and it's really just more throw a few switches and see what happens, and you make a monster, and that's all I could ask for. On the whole, the Devil Bat is hilarious. It's a really wonderful melodramatic performance from Lugosi. Not really any kind of standout story, but it's just a lot of fun. I really, really do recommend it. It's not a must-watch, but it's a really fun one. So, if you like a little campy 50s horror in your life, and who doesn't, I recommend The Devil Bat. So with that said, on to the few spoilers I've got for you. At one point, the Devil Bat swoops in to attack the reporter guy after Lugosi has given him some of the lotion. But it's kind of weird, because he hasn't even put on the lotion yet. He said he's going to do it in the morning. So why did Lugosi release the bat now? And why is it attacking him? It's a little thing, but I can live with it. He actually kills that devil bat. But Lugosi's got plenty of bats, so he just makes a new one, basically. After that, there's a great scene where Lugosi is about to go on like a melodramatic mad scientist, you don't understand what I've achieved speech, and starts weirding out this guy after he's given him the lotion. And he's just like, yeah, no, you're right, I've been overworking, I'll just leave. And as soon as he leaves, the guy gets on the phone to call the police. But Lugosi walks back in and is just like, sorry, I forgot my hat. And it's just like a great little moment of tension. But anyway, that guy ends up dying. a bunch of people end up dying. Then by the end, the reporter ends up going to Lugosi and asking him for more of the lotion because he's got a crazy theory about how it might be connected, and he's like, I'm not sure. And he already knows what Lugosi Carruthers is up to, and he puts some on his neck and is just like, why don't you come on down with me to catch the devil bat? And he's just like, I don't know, but I'll go with you. And after they've sat there for a while, he's like, you know what, I should go. And he just goes, yeah, I don't think so, and pulls a gun on him, and he sits back down, and there's a moment where he's just like, no, it's fine. It's just, firearms disturb me, and it's just like, yeah, really, of course. The guy next to him sort of basically says, I wouldn't want you getting too close to me because I've got the lotion on me. Starts talking about what he thinks Lugosi is up to, and he just is like, well, why did you bring me here anyway? The bat's not going to attack me because I don't have any of the lotion on. And he just pulls out the bottle and douses Lugosi in it, and they both start freaking out, and the bat eventually ends up coming down and killing Lugosi, and we get a nice little happy ending. Again, it's a fun little 50s B horror movie. At least I'm pretty sure it's 50s, might be 40s, but the science thing was more 50s, so I think it's 50s. I will correct myself if I'm wrong, but yeah, I highly recommend you check out The Devil Bat. It's a fun little movie with a fake-looking bat in it that screams like a screaming goat, and I can't get over that. So please watch this movie. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and hopefully I will see you in another video. So thank you for watching. Bye.